Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Today, we're going to talk about nuclear weapons and the theory that they may not even exist. Let's watch some stuff.
You're
Do you
not
think
retarded.
nuclear
Yeah,
bombs are fake? Is that what you're saying to me?
there's a conspiracy theory that nuclear bombs actually don't exist. That they never actually figured it out, but they realized that the threat of nuclear bombs is good enough.
That is absolutely fact. Like fact. Just the threat of it is enough. If they in fact don't exist, yeah, thinking that they do, that's psychological warfare at its finest. Because people will behave when they think you've got a bigger stick. Hey, thanks so much for joining me today. If you're having a good time, please hit the like button. If you want to subscribe. That's subscribe.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Check out this utter and complete bullshit. This is a simple question that if you've not heard of before, should blow your mind. These scenes are showing the devastation of a nuclear explosion. This supposed scene played out during a nuclear bomb testing, somewhere in Nevada, or so they say. So what they want you to believe is that with all this wanton destruction, with shit exploding all over the place, like this house that is literally disintegrating, that the camera filming this scene is made out of magic. Because it doesn't even shake. Boom. They fooled everyone. This shit was fake. Mr. 76 signing out.
So this isn't the first time that I've seen clips like this, but it has been recent, like in the last few months. And never in my life have I ever for a split second until then thought that maybe, just maybe, these nuclear tests were fake. Maybe nuclear weapons are fake. Never have I thought it. But now I'm like, wait a second. How did those cameras survive? Everything else is absolutely obliterated. And yet these cameras inside the house are okay. I mean, I get ones that are far away and zoomed in. I can understand those being okay. But the ones inside the house really makes you think. Well, it's really quiet in here. I want to take a second and apologize for all the background noise. You see this wall right here? On the other side of this wall, there's a TV. And on the other side of that TV is my husband. So, yeah, background noise. Yay! Here's some more examples. So looking at those two comparisons and knowing that the second one is a much smaller, explosion, but the devastation that it still caused and the cameras that it took out, yet the ones in the nuclear testing were just fine. It's insane. It's a little crazy kind of, because you're like in your head, once you've been told that there's a possibility that those might be faked, you kind of go, yeah, I can see it. Well, I go, yeah, I can see it. And then it goes back to that psychological warfare thing, right? Like they want you to think that, hey, this is what we've got. This is what we're bringing to the table. Don't mess around. I'd be scared. That's a scary thing.
After the news came out, I was convinced that this was actually a hoax, because Hiroshima was a port city. And so I assumed that, in fact, somebody had equipped a barge with a few thousand tons of TNT, just as the cliche went, and they had slipped this barge into the harbor, and then they flew a little airplane over and dropped something and set off this bomb. And so I assumed this was a great trick for fooling the Japanese into thinking we had an atomic bomb.
That certainly is an interesting thing to say.
Just a tiny bit of mass can give you a lot of energy. And this premise was enough for science fiction writers to let their imaginations run wild. Like H.G. Wells, who in 1914 published the book The World Set Free, which includes the first mention of the words atomic bomb. He envisioned a uranium-based hand grenade that would continue to explode indefinitely. But to scientists, this was completely detached from reality. As Einstein in 1933 put it, there is not the slightest indication that nuclear energy will ever be obtainable. It would mean that the atom would have to be shattered at will. And that's just the thing. People had no ability to make a nucleus do anything.
So atomic weapons arrive in the early 20th century in the form of science fiction novels. But then we have this brilliant man, Albert Einstein, who says, no, this will never happen. This will never, ever happen. And then suddenly, like 10 years or so later, it does.
You've seen all the grainy footage of nuclear test blasts that you've
Sure.
with the mushroom clouds, and there are always these grainy things, and there's all these like little houses lined up and these little trees lined up, and it blows everything down. Well, there's always been a conspiracy theory that those were all basically fabricated at this facility, that those bombs actually were never detonated, and that basically the U.S. military was basically faking these bomb tests to freak out the Russians, to make us think that we had weapons.
Psychological warfare. And it's fear-mongering. It's controlling the masses with fear, right? They're afraid that we have these things. And oh my goodness, look at this video that came out that shows they have this thing. It's just like when Russia leaked that video of that woman, manipulating things, and suddenly we have our little PSYOPs programs, right? The men who stare at goats. Same thing, but a little more destructive.
Here are some atrocities that the US government has committed that they want you to forget. In 1945, they decided to start testing nuclear bombs in Nevada. This ensued a massive radioactive fallout, which ended up causing disturbing amounts of cancer. And from the years 1951 and 1973, it's estimated that over 500,000 people died in the aftermath, which is actually more than double the amount of people that were killed in the Nagasaki and Hiroshima bombings combined. After World War II, instead of maintaining peace and prosperity, they would go on to overthrow an obscene amount of foreign governments during the Prohibition, when they banned all consumption of alcohol, and when people still tried to illegally and secretly sell it. Instead of just getting rid of all the booze, they decided to poison it and claim over 10,000 American souls.
If you've made it this far, tell me if you think I'm crazy. If you think I've absolutely lost my mind thinking that there's no such thing as nuclear weapons, let me know, because I absolutely do think that there is such thing as nuclear weapons. This was just a topic that was presented to me, and I think that it's super fantastic that a lot of people actually don't think that there are nuclear weapons. I get it. I mean, I'm looking at the footage of the testing, and there's part of me going, that's a little weird. It's suspicious looking, isn't it? But there's no way around the fact that, Hiroshima and Nagasaki did actually happen. Here's something else that is interesting.
What does this have in common with this? It's not what you think. Back in July of 1946, there were only 7 nuclear bombs in existence, 2 of which were detonated by the United States as a test during Operation Crossroads to investigate the effect of nuclear weapons on warships. The first test happened on July 1st, 1946, where a nuclear bomb was dropped from a B-29 superfortress and was detonated in the air 520 feet above the target fleet of warships. 24 days later, the second nuclear bomb was detonated, this time 90 feet underwater. But only 4 days after the first explosion, a French designer named Louis Riard introduced a new design for the two-piece swimsuit, hoping that the revealing style of his swimsuit would create an explosive commercial and cultural reaction, similar to the nuclear explosion. He called his new swimsuit the Bikini, named after Bikini Atoll in the Pacific Ocean where those two nuclear explosions happened.
A lot of people gathered together and they got their blankets on the beach and they're in their new bikinis on the Bikini Atoll. And they watched these two detonations. One of them was low and one of them was like a shallow water detonation. And now Bikini Atoll, you can't go there because it's full of radiation. These people, they went there to watch this from not a very far distance. That's dumb. And now that whole place, there's too much radiation there. You're not supposed to go there. But they were there. On that note, I'm going to call it for today. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Come on back tomorrow. We're going to watch some new stuff. I'll say different things. And it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day.